Video 10. We meet again. This is the first video of the new year. How was your new year? This is the part of the year where people start to do New Year's resolutions. What an opportunity to discuss vision boards. A student vision board or an academic vision board to plan your dreams and goals for your degree. I suppose this would be related to the idea of manifestation. If you're not aware of what manifestation is, it's basically when you, through your mind, turn something into reality. Your hopes and dreams, you can make it real. I usually make vision boards for my general life and everything. I've never done a PhD specific one, so this should be interesting. I'm going to show an example of what I made later. But before we get into that, I want you to take a moment to think about what are your academic goals. Of course, all of us want to graduate, right? So that's a huge one. This can mean anything from I want to publish a monograph, I want to submit my ethics review application and pass it, I want to get through my Viva. When you're thinking about these goals, make sure they are somewhat realistic. I do want to preface that statement with saying that we want you to dream big. I want you to dream big. But at the same time, let's say you just started your PhD. It probably wouldn't be ideal to put, I want to do my postdoctorate. It's kind of like, yes, you can put that on there, but you didn't even get your PhD yet. The visualizing doesn't always work for some people because you're reaching too far when you have to visualize the steps to get there. You don't want to go and create your vision board and be like, if you have like love on there, you're not going to be like, I want to marry Ryan Gosling, you know. Now that you have a list of what you would like to achieve in your PhD, we can get starting to the fun part. You have two options. You can create one by hand, like paper, cut out magazines, print out images, and kind of glue and paste together, which I actually prefer. If I was back home, I would do that, and I have done that every year because it just feels like you're getting your hands into it, and it takes time, and you're putting energy into it. But there is the option of doing it digitally. There are programs like Canva that they actually have templates for vision boards that I found out today. It's actually pretty meditative too, because you're just sitting down, taking time for yourself and thinking about what you want to achieve. When I did it, I was just sitting there clicking around and listening to Doki Doki Literature Club soundtrack. For this video, we're gonna go with the digital option. So you can go to canva.com. I'll put a link in the description and click on the vision board template. I will show you mine that I put together today. Here we go. I made this on Canva, PhD vision board. As an example, of course, graduate, that's the wrong cap. It's not the PhD cap. But I liked how Frodo's like freaking out and he's bloody and dirty and just like getting through the grind of the degree. Yeah, surviving and thriving. Over here on the right, fitness. I hate exercising, but I know that physical activity is very important for us, for our health, especially in the PhD where we're using our mind and we need to get out of our head. So this is actually an image of Allbirds shoes, which is one of my favorite brands because when it comes to shoes, I need to be comfortable. PhD students were always like running around doing stuff, so shoe comfort is of utmost importance, at least for me. I wish Allbirds, I wish they would sponsor me. I love them so much and I could praise them all day. But anyway, so I had conferences. So there's a head blowing up here. This is from David Cronenberg's Scanners. It's just a note to myself that I want to run a specific type of conference, horror related, which I won't mention on here because it's never been done yet and I don't want somebody to take the idea. And I have festivals because my PhD, it's practice based, which means that half of it is written and then the other half is practice. So I will have a 1-hour documentary under my belt once I graduate. which is quite intimidating, but I'm super excited. I had put festivals in there because it's a child as well, because my thesis involves inviting a group of children to make their own horror film and documenting that process. And I put South by Southwest in Austin just as one example of a dream fest, because I just love Austin and South by Southwest. And there are other festivals that, of course, I would love to get into, but it's not even that the fact that I put South by Southwest there as like the main thing that I want. Like, and I'm mentioning this specifically because sometimes you will put something on your vision board you didn't get in, or you didn't get to it. And you have to be okay with that as well, because sometimes you won't get something and it means because you'll get something better. And actually, that's a fact. And then I had teaching and podcasting. And then mental health is very important to me, especially for us students. We need to take care of that. And I have Scandinavia over there for travel, because I'm going to university here in the UK, and that offers me opportunity to travel and make other connections I wouldn't have had I stayed in America. That's both leisure and work, is travel in general around Europe and the UK. And then I have like a few things related to, like, you'll see the YouTube plaque. And the thing with like success in like these types of creative positions, I always say I am never seeking fame for the ego or like for the attention aspect of it. I'm always trying to build this idea of a personal brand. I know personal brand tends to have a dirtiness to it, but I feel like personal brand doesn't have to be negatively looked at. Let's say getting more followers or subscribers, etc. It's more about building this brand so I can have more financial opportunities. And when those financial opportunities come, I can support those who need help. The Duplass brothers, the filmmakers, are huge inspirations to me, period. And I love that they started out as filmmakers, but now they've built this whole production company and just this brand about like helping indie filmmakers. That's what I would love to do, is just help people in the end and have the financial support to be able to do that, you know? I put Sight and Sound here as well, as far as like publication. I know publication can be very important to some students, but yeah, this is just like generally speaking. Oh, I guess I should explain the one here with Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell on the set of Ash vs. Evil Dead, the show. Horror film directing is obviously one of my greatest loves and passions, and I would love to continue to do that as I am pursuing my PhD. And afterwards, one of my dreams is really to direct an Evil Dead movie. And like, yeah, so I just had to put that in there because it's like, you know, still connected to my horror degree. There's so much more that I could have put into it, but I just wanted to give you guys something of a foundation to start with and kind of hear like where my mind was at as far as creating a PhD vision board. But yours could look completely different, and I'm sure it will. If you're having a hard time thinking about PhD or academic goals, especially if you're just starting and you're like, what? Like, I don't even know like what I'm doing right now. That's everyone. But I can provide some links to some great articles of people who have written ideas on PhD goals and everything. I truly believe that the mind is a powerful thing and you can create the life that you want, because I had visualized this when I was in my master's degree at film school at USC, and there's a class called 546 that is very competitive to get into. You can apply to be a director, which is what I was doing. I manifested that, I feel, because getting into the course as a director, it wasn't just blind wishing. It's because immediately when I started the program, I tried to make shorts in the assignments we were doing that would help my reel that would make me a viable candidate for 546, the class. Every step I was thinking about, how can I get closer to being selected for that class? I did research, I talked to people, tried to prepare for the pitch and the interview. That's what I mean when you're manifesting. You have to think about those steps. Like, how do I get there? Another example that I had was unrelated to academia, but when I was in undergrad, one of my professors had us do this assignment where we would write out our dream partner. Like, oh, what do you describe them as? All the qualities, physical, internal, and just write it on this paper. And this was like, years and years ago. And then crazily enough, like years later, I ended up dating somebody who had those qualities. I was like, this is literally what I wrote down when I was younger. Even with that, you got to be specific, because I had missed to like put some things in there. Then it was like, oh, actually I missed out on things that were important, like emotional intelligence and stuff like this. Specificity. That's an important thing too when you're creating your vision board. For example, I would not say, oh, I want to get into an Ivy League school. It's like, no, like, if you want to go to Harvard, look up Harvard. Look at like how you're going to get in there. Do some research. You really got to be your own cheerleader when you're creating the life that you want. In a way, you have to be delusional. You have to be so positively delusional that you're going to get it. It reminds me of this interview with Denzel Washington where someone was asking him, oh, how did you, get here? You're like one of the most famous actors and etc. And he was like, I didn't make a backup plan. I refused to make a plan B. I knew that I wanted to be an actor, and that was it. If I didn't make it, there was no plan B. Some people might find that to be a controversial approach to not have a backup plan. But it worked for him. And Denzel, if you watch his interviews, they're like so motivational and so inspiring. Highly recommend anything by him. And speaking of that, make sure you're entering spaces and opportunities where you can get inspired. You don't want to be all like, oh, I really want to do this, I really want to do that. You want to look to the people that you want to be like and hear what they say, how they got there, and surround yourself with positive people and friends and mentors, who can create that positive energy around you. Higher vibration, they call it, where you're just so positive and most of all, grateful. Gratitude is such an important thing in life. We actually need to be extremely thankful for what we already have and what we don't have. I was listening to this podcast with Law Roach, who is the stylist for Zendaya, Anya Taylor-Joy, Celine Dion, just an incredible artist. He was saying that, you gotta be thankful for the opportunities you didn't get, because that's just the universe making way for you to get what you want and need. And that's really what we have to do when we're approached with failure, just to be grateful for it and know that the right thing is coming our way. That's everything that I have to say about how to create a vision board. Another way you could do it is to just create a Pinterest account and then add images on there. Whatever works for you, really. Since it is the new year, I guess we're thinking about resolutions and everything. I always try to be realistic as well. Like right now, I'm just trying to get through life. If you want to share your tips on how you achieve your dreams and manifesting and all of the above, etc., feel free to leave a comment below so we can start a conversation. It is a very interesting topic that I always would love to hear about. If you only take away one thing from this video, I would say self-love. It all comes down to self-love and learning how to love yourself, no matter what life throws at you or gifts you. And I feel like if you have that at the root of everything you do, then you're gonna be just fine and then some. Especially with 2025 now, let's try to have a positive start and just be like, let's get through this, but also let's learn to love ourselves more every day, because It's the hardest thing to do in a world where everything is trying to get you to doubt yourself. I shall leave you with that. Love you, love yourself, and love each other. See? Just positive everywhere. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing, and I will see you in the next video.